Together, we make humane world.
For sure.
Information, visit American Humane at kindness100.org or call 866-242-1877. That's 866-242-1877.
1490 WHBB. Good morning on this Friday morning. And as I have been telling you, in fact, today we've got a full schedule. Our guest is Miss Kameisha Alvarado, aka Sunshine. Before we get into interviewing her, I think we want to play an audio file that she has to kind of introduces her. And first, let me say, morning, Ms. Alvarado.
Good morning. Good morning, Randy and the WHB listeners.
No, which ward? Not ward, but yeah, is it ward or district?
District 3,
District
Ward
3.
3 and 8.
Okay,
District
all right.
3, Ward 3 and 8.
Well, welcome to welcome to Sunshine.
Hey, welcome to Let the Sunshine here, baby. I like that, Randy.
Welcome to Viewpoint. It's early, y'all. It's early. Well, let's see here. Now, okay, what we're going to do before we get the interview going is she has produced an audio, and we'll listen to that first and then get into the interview.
Hey, for Alvarado, guiding light. B is for best, shining so bright. C is for the path we take. For our children, for our future's sake. Let the sun shine in, let the hope arise. With Kameisha leading, we can touch the sky. In District 3, a voice so strong. Together we stand where we all belong. Empower our youth, give them a chance. Build up our schools, let their dreams enhance. With dedication, in Selma, our vision runs deep. Every child smile, a reason to fight, we'll make it right. So clear and true, together we rise, just me and you. Let the sun shine in, let the hope arise. We can use our leading, we can touch the skies. In District 3, a voice so strong. Together we stand where we are belong. United, work hand in hand, a future of promise. Together we stand. Let's uplift each other, love will prevail. In Selma we trust, we will not fail. Let the sun shine in, let the hope arise. With Kameisha leading, we can touch the sky. In District 3, a voice so strong. Together we stand where we all belong. It's for Alvarado, our guiding star. With her on board, we'll go far. Let the sun shine in, hear the call. For Kameisha, let's stand tall.
Oh, for Kameisha, Sunshine Alvarado. Let the sunshine in. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah. Well, we'll charge you for that the next time. No. Well, that comes with the interview. So we do that complimentary, and so it's all about letting people see who the candidate is. And so, who sung that for you?
My kids did that. It's some kind of AI generated situation.
What?
And yeah, so
Oh my Lord!
it's great.
Watch out, R&B artists. You know they did that. They tried disco. The music industry tried to replace rhythm and blues with disco, and the response to that was rap. And I see that. I don't think rap's gonna
I
last.
love disco. And I love rap.
Well,
so
you
maybe
know,
something's wrong with me, right?
Well, but see, the problem though was with disco. Now I don't know how many people will know this, but a lot of the instrumentation, computer and keyboard.
That's right.
And so now we got AI getting ready to do something. But now I heard something on the AI like that. I heard a rap song that was done on AI. It sounded pretty good.
Right. We got to get our kids into that future.
Well, it's good to get into the technology,
That's
but
right.
not to get caught up in it.
Well, you got to learn
You know
it.
what I mean? You learn it,
learn it.
But know how to do without it too. You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
right.
And how to think.
That's right.
You
Because
know.
it does become disabling.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they get like robots. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. And this is kind of related. I remember when I was still doing nightclubs, I had a client though that had to. This was in Florida, and what was popular then? Oh, tear the club up.
Huh.
And he banned the song club up. They did thousands of dollars of damage. But that just goes to show us how vulnerable and how strong, how powerful music can be. Yeah, especially with young people, you know. Now, so Sunshine, I'm not going to assume that everybody, the people who are listening now, know about you and your background. Bring us up to date. Where were you born? Where did you go to school? What have you done professionally? Give us your resume.
Well, my name is Kameisha Alvarado. Most people know me. Well, people call me Kameisha Smith and Kameisha Houston, but my name is Kameisha Houston, my maiden name. I got married and came to Alvarado. I get the Smith from my granddad, Reverend Smith, and Alpha Smith. So I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, but I spent every summer, at least that I can remember, right here in Selma, Alabama, and was actually baptized around the age of 7 or 8 at Missionary Baptist Church, Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church in Uniontown, Alabama. And I have a lot of family still in Selma in this area today. My mom is still in New York. My dad just passed here in December, and I'm the only child. So I don't have any siblings. I don't have any nieces and nephews unless I claim them as such. And I have a lot of those that I've claimed over the years. I went to Selma High. I graduated in 1991. I was in a gifted class in New Jersey, in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And when I got to Selma High, because I was a gifted student, and we had actual gifted schools set aside for us, when I got here, I was already placed in level 1, and I was part of that tracking movement in 91. So I learned a lot about community organizing at that point in my life, because coming from Newark, New Jersey, watching a movement happen where you got military people with armed guns ready in the hallways was kind of like extra for me. I was like, I thought Newark was bad. I thought I was in Selma, right?
I thought you were going to talk about when, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but Newark, the National Guard had been called into Newark, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, Detroit. What we're watching happen in D.C. now is not new. But anyway, go ahead.
That was in the early 70s.
That was in the 70s. That was right. One was right before Dr. King was assassinated, but another one, when he was assassinated, all your major urban cities went up in flames.
They did. I remember too.
And then not too long after that, in the 70s, because Oakland and Detroit, they had a few incidences that kicked things off. So that's where the phrase "a long hot summer" comes from, because that's when it would happen during the summer. And I remember when I was young, in Philadelphia, I remember the National Guard was. I'm laughing because while the National Guard was policing the area and basically keeping everything under control, the block that I was on, every block had a gang. I never belonged to a gang, so I had to fight everybody. But our gang was more busy stealing from the stores than they were fighting the police.
That's right.
I can remember seeing hundreds of people coming down our block with bats in their hands and weapons, going to meet the National Guard. So that people, that's why I tell them I've seen more. They're talking about January 6th. I've seen more fights on Church Street in
I
Selma.
don't know
The
about
gen-
that.
I might be
He
exaggerating.
exaggerated. Don't do Church Street. James always tell him, get him now. Don't do Church Street. We gonna lie.
Let's stop. Let's go back to what we're here for. So you mentioned 1990, and 90 was a pivotal year and event for Selma in a lot of different ways. It was also the 25th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery March. I was the national chairperson with SCLC that particular year. And it got so hot that Dr. Lowry decided not to come in until Bloody Sunday, And so, but as a result of what happened with the tracking movement in 1990, we experienced white flight.
We really did.
From the school system, and a lot of Black families who could afford private school left.
That's right.
How did that impact you and your views on education?
Oh, that's been one of my main campaign points, being inclusive. Because when I was at Selma High, I enjoyed the diversity of Selma. We had a lot more funding. We had a lot more things to do before the white flight per se, and we need that back. I think our children are missing it. When you go off into the world after you leave your community, you have to deal with a lot of different people, and I think with Selma being, I would hate to say segregated, but we're not inclusive anymore.
Well, no, we're resegregated, but this time the difference is it's by choice.
It's by choice,
not by the law.
Financial power.
Right. It's not Jim Crow laws. The segregation, people have decided on their own.
That's right.
To leave the school system.
Leave the school system, and the only way we can really get them back is to just advocate for a safer school and make it a safer school. We have to do something, because when I was at Selma High, it was there were debate classes, we had computer programming classes. It was everything for everyone. And I'm not sure how tracking played a part, because I was young and I really didn't understand it. But I do believe that people do learn differently. And I think that we should really hone in on the skills that children are really good at and not focus on the ones that they're not good at.
Well, what was tragic about tracking, and this is why I didn't remember it. I'm from the class of 77 at Selma High, and I guess we were close to being half and half Black and white, and we got along too. We had our challenges, and we were going through our growing pains, but we were having a good time too. But what I did not know, and I found out, I think I spoke to our anchor, but I didn't realize that it really started.
It started because they tried to put her in.
But she was in elementary school, though, right. So I wouldn't have known what they were doing, in elementary school. In the 70s, in 77, 74 to 77 in Selma High, I challenged what they call duality. They had black and white queens and black and white. It was black and white everything, and we said no. Level the playing field. Let the chips fall where they may. If a white person becomes the most popular,
Tasha Brown, because she was the first Black head cheerleader.
Well, see, and that's what we fought for. Right. We fought for leveling the playing. If it's white, fine. If it's black, fine. Let it be what it is. Right. But evidently, and then the other thing was, we had a choice. We had 3 levels. Level 1, right, was really the top academic classes to prepare for college.
Right.
Number 2 was the middle ground, and 3 were for what would be considered the easier classes or slow learners.
Right.
So it boiled down to whoever the guidance counselors were.
That they
were the ones directing where students went.
I see we need to do that differently, because some kids may just learn differently. Like I have 3 boys, and I've been a parent without interruption in this school system since 2005.
Wow.
That's 20 years.
That's a long time.
And I still have 9 more to go.
Lord, have mercy.
And I never stopped.
Wow.
When Paul graduated and went to college, Jeremiah was going to Meadowview for his first year. I didn't get a break.
Wow.
And then now that Jeremiah now is 11th grade, I still have a third grader. So I have a track record.
So you didn't know what's going on in the schools, And I understand you had some issues with one or two of your children.
I've had issues with both my children in schools. But Jeremiah's was more challenging because we didn't have a cooperative and parent inclusive superintendent. And I like the one we have now. Dr. Scott, because he's already talking about having work sessions, things like that, to give parents an opportunity. Because at the board meeting, there's so much stuff going on with staff, budgeting. It's hard to hear what the parents have to say in a wholesome way. So he's proposing to do work sessions, and I support that. But we do need to find other ways to differentiate our children
To
instead of
engage them. Well,
based on how their level of make them feel like I know how to learn.
well,
Because
see, that's the
I may
problem.
read differently,
Right.
and this person may do OJT.
Right.
See, the Navy taught me when I was in the Navy. Some people learn through words, and then other people learn through action. And we have to figure that out when it comes to our kids. And maybe we put them in a more animated class that can stick in their mind as opposed to
hold their
just text.
attention.
That's
Yeah.
right. We need
Well, the other problem during the time that I was in high school at Selma High, although somehow I was able to, nobody really bothered me either way because I was doing so much then. But what was happening to most of the class is your middle class blacks. Most of them were the ones that would end up on level 1.
That's right.
Level 1 was preparing them for college, and everybody else is level 2 and 3.
I had a teacher, my trigonometry teacher at Selma High, tell me she was only preparing for students who were going to college. Because I asked her to do a question, and it still don't really understand math. Maybe because she thought she was only preparing the students that she thought was going to college.
That was intentional.
It was intentional, and I challenged that. And I got kicked out, of course, and I even had this my whole senior year in Coach Maxey's class. And my aunt came, and it was crazy. But my aunt believed what I said. I said, well, I asked her to help me. And so we have to help students. If you're a teacher and your kid's not getting it, it's your responsibility to help that particular child get it. Maybe she doesn't learn like the other kids, or maybe he doesn't learn like the other kids, but it's not a way to dismiss them that they are not college ready.
Right. Well, just imagine if so many people had not gone to college, we wouldn't have the number of people that are from Selma in high-ranking positions.
That's right.
I can't deny. I don't think any of us should deny the value of an education. That's the game changer.
I'm a lifelong learner.
And I am too. You know what I mean?
I'm currently enrolled. I just enrolled in Selma University. They were offering free classes. I said, well, why not? I'll go to Selma University and get one of those free classes and learn.
So now, with all of this being said, how do you see yourself, if elected to the school board, being able to impact what you just described in terms of in the classroom?
Well, policy, being a little bit more when it comes to parents. See, parents will have to address the board in my case, for me to be able to deal with a child being placed out of a leveling system. And we will have to be able to address those parents. And that's one of the things I want to deal with. As a board, in my experience, the board really have not had an opportunity to deal with parental issues. Tabling issues, you'll just get forgotten about. I was one of those parents that kept coming to try to get my son a better solution. And I was told by this school board attorney that I would be able to meet, and I should be able to meet. And the superintendent was told he had to meet with me, and it never happened. And no school board member, with the exception of my district person, who was Phyllis Hauser, who's not running for her seat, checked on that. And that was kind of disheartening. I would have thought that if a parent came up with that much concern about lack of communication with superintendent and staff, that at some point the board would have to step in, because that's their job. We elected them to be a voice for the kids, not just a voice for the superintendent. There's many facets of a school board member, and it's community based. It's not just doing what the school superintendent says, it's doing what's best for the community based on the superintendent's recommendations. So if the superintendent gives a recommendation that may not be the best fit for a student, that's when the board should say, well, let's go in executive session and see what we can do to help this student or help this parent. So I want to be the voice for the parents and a voice for the child that's just been, and the question has been resurfacing, how do we get these kids back? Parental involvement, respecting parents. If a parent comes to the board with questions about her child, don't ignore them.
Don't shut them down. Which brings me to the $1 million question. Why are you running for a seat on the school board?
Because I wasn't heard. it's basically, and I have the ability to make change, and I have the knowledge and the capability to foster change in education. I have a master's in public administration, concentrating in leadership and organizational development and change. And I was magna cum laude, say that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it's something that I've worked in my military experience. I was part of the morale boosting team because I was able to bring change. It was like kind of dead every day. Like, and, you know, sometimes you have to do things to build up morale with kids, parents, staff. And we, you know, we have a lot of Title I meetings, but can we go outside of that? I've never really seen a school board member have a community town hall meeting for her district or his district. I've never seen that. I've seen superintendents do it. I've seen PTO classes do it. But what are our school board members doing in the community outside of sitting at that desk? Are they giving back? Are they reaching out? Are they being accessible to the parent? I want to be that voice.
Well, let's take a break, and we will be back with more. Our guest this morning, Miss Kameisha Alvarado, aka Sunshine. You say let the sunshine in. All I can do is shake my head. Okay, we'll be back with more right after these messages.
Look, when I heard the song, we was just tickled.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. The deal with the song, the AI. My gosh, I don't know what these folks are going to do. I don't know what we're going to do. This camera.
This technology. Well, you know, go back to Computer Love.
Oh well, yeah,
Zap,
yeah, Roger
right.
and Zap,
So,
yeah.
Maybe not be the same thing, but
well, no, it's just he was way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And he died young.
Yes, he did.
You know, he sure did. He was from Dayton, Ohio, and I got folks in Dayton, and some of them were friends of his. And I remember one year, I was at the Jack the Rapper convention in Atlanta, and Roger performed. I used to wear a safari hat.
Yeah.
He got all these.
Panama Jack.
Huh?
He thought you were Panama Jack.
Yeah. But I had a reputation for I used to wear all kinds of hats. And so this night I was wearing my safari hat, and he, I don't know, all these thousands of people he's performing and starts performing with my safari hat on.
Safari hat sometimes.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's where he got it from.
The inspiration.
Yeah,
2-7.
yeah,
In the world.
I don't talk about that. Yeah, that was crazy. What do you guys doing here? Yeah, that was something.
I saw him once, right before he passed, in DC at a women's expo. It was powerful just hearing that little tube thing.
He was way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
You know, and I sure hated when he passed away. Make sure. Yeah, I'm more here. Dave's.
Nobody but Dave lets you get a 5-pound bag of roasted potatoes for $1.79.
No, why this thing? I don't know what it is with you and cameras. Sometimes, you know, there are people that the cameras don't always like.
They love. My energy's so great, it's magnetic.
It must be. It must be. Well, it looks like we will have to do the rest of, the audio is what's important. And so they'll be able to hear.
Why every time I can hear your camera go?
I don't know what that is.
What did you do?
I don't know, nothing. Because it just stopped. And so I'm trying to reset the camera. See what's going on. Yesterday it froze on Collins. And so it stayed frozen on we could hear everything he was saying, but the video was frozen. And then I had to reset it like I'm doing now. So I'm hoping this will work. 1490 WHBB. I didn't know that the mic was still open. That's why it's a good idea not to have a bad habit of bad language, sunshine.
That's
Just
right.
mess around
Radio talking
and
that.
see.
Your mind gotta be radio minded when you're here at the studio. Can't say anything.
No, I don't
Mics
want
be hot.
no Jesse Jackson moments.
Oh Lord, no, not that one.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's another story. So we've got about 20 minutes or so left, and uh, again, this is District 3 that you're running for. Okay, and what are you hoping? What's your platform?
Parental involvement. I just said that 1,000 times, Randy. Parental involvement, being there for the parents, because that's been an avenue that we haven't really seen since Dr. Obashahan,
who just passed away.
He had a whole parental council, and it was revolving. In the past, I've just seen cliques do things with certain people and they're only friends, and that's not what real education looks like. If it's the same people coming in the door with the same, like Dr. Bird and the last couple of superintendents had the same kind of people around them, and it leads to a one-sided point of view. You can't really guarantee that leader is coming in the door with their own personal assumptions of the system, and that can ruin the system as well. I think that we should allow our leaders to come in and just learn. And if you learn, you understand the different facets in the community. But if you already have people coming at you or a team of people already in your ear, you're really doing yourself a disservice in the leadership in Selma.
Well, probably, I guess you could say I keep my ear to the ground, and sometimes not by choice, because people will. And here recently, I've had a tremendous amount of feedback in terms of issues, not the candidates. People are not really talking about who they're going to vote for necessarily, but I do hear about a lot of issues. And one of the main concerns with the school board.
Yeah, I want some questions. I don't want to talk about my platform. They done heard that at every forum. We done had 20 many forums. I want you to ask some questions like a journalist. Come on, give it to me, Randy.
All right, well, be careful what you ask for,
I'm
right?
with it. I'm with it. Be careful what you ask. I'm gonna answer it.
Okay. I want the answers here.
I want to give it to you. I want the people to know the difference between me and my opponent, because there's a stark difference.
All right. So the first main problem I hear a lot of people have is the instability that, just as you have just referenced, the number of school board superintendents we've had, I guess, since Dr. Carter. I'm hearing it's like something like 10.
Too many.
It's far too many.
Too many.
Instability. So now, and then I say to people who are running for office, many times, a candidate will start talking about things they want to see change, but it is outside of their scope in terms of, the responsibilities or the authority of that position.
But that is.
So now that's my question. So the question is, as a school board member, if elected, how would you address instability in the superintendent's position?
Doing real research, and not and that's another reason why I think I need to be on the board. I'm a non-educated. I'm studied in government. My military background, my education is business and government. It has nothing to do with education, but it looks like to me we have so many educators. And like how in radio we have our little personal indifferences with other folks in radio, because he may have a better little sound on this day, and he had more followers on this day, a little higher rating. So I think in education we have those same issues, and we have too many educators leading educators. And so sometimes they may have differences or personal differences that are not allowing them to be objective in their leadership. And I want to be objective. I don't have anybody I went to college with in education and I saw that they didn't have the great grades, or I don't have a friend that probably took a job from me in 20 years ago and I'm holding that grudge now. But it's something that the educators are doing, because we've had a lot of educators on this panel and it hasn't been a good service for our children. And that's a problem. So maybe they're too much into the details and not into the work of doing the proper research and vetting of these board members and superintendents. And it's not like we haven't had qualified superintendents. Well, the last one we had before this one had some federal charges that should have maybe been mentioned at the hiring process, because those things kind of still are following him throughout other instances. But we do have to vet them better and not vet them based on personal relationships, because sometimes fraternization In the South,
Well, no, that's never a good idea.
and it happens
Yeah.
too much.
Never a good
It
idea.
happens too much.
In any profession.
In any profession,
You gotta
the
keep it
military
out.
taught us that specifically, that we had to be ethical. And if I worked
As a
for my
manager or
superintendent,
supervisor,
I can't come to the barbecue unless I invited everyone to the barbecue, right? So we have to start doing that. These personal friendships, college relationships need to get out of our business. Let's hire these people based on their capabilities. And once we do that, let's not fire them because some kids don't like them. Let's not fire them because our church member didn't like them. Let's keep them if they're worthy. But we also have to investigate the things that go on and not cover up for our leaders. Last superintendent, we had a lot of issues at the hut that people don't want to talk about, but they're still relevant. And we need to hold people accountable in their position. And just like I think Phoenix City is right now giving their superintendent the business because they already had a system in place that advanced students can go ahead and advance up to the next grade if they're ready and able. But now that the school district of Alabama has said we're going to allow students to advance, Phoenix City is upset that their superintendent was ahead of the game to figure out how did that work for their already built-in system that they've been doing for 11 years and how can they merge it with the state. So we have to be compliant. We have to know what we want from our superintendent. What programs do we really want? We shouldn't allow our superintendent to come in with his visions for Selma. We should have a proposed vision that we want for our students because most don't know anything about our culture or our community. So if we allow someone that hasn't been here to bring a plan that isn't really detailed and designed for Selma, we're failing our students. So I think that's where the past boards have failed. And I want to be that board member to ask those specific questions that relates to Selma needs, not to the needs of education, because obviously their education, their background has led them to the ability to have this position.
Put a pin in that. Let me take a break real quick. I need to take this call.
Okay.
And put a pin in that, and we'll be back with more right after these messages. Yes, sir. Hello. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir. Okay, can you hear me now? Are you coming in, or you want to do Zoom?
Can we do virtual?
Yeah, I meant to send it to you last night. I got distracted. Had to do a football game.
Okay.
So what I'll do is, because you're scheduled for 9.
That's correct. 9 o'clock.
So what I'll do is around 8ish, I'll go ahead and text you the link.
That's perfect.
Okay. All right. Talk to you then. Yep. Oh, excuse me. It's been a pretty busy time here as we get closer to the election. Mayor Perkins is coming on at 9.
Okay. Oh, that's why. Hey, man, Perkins,
No,
look.
he's not. No, that didn't come over there. No, that was. I really didn't want to. I put it on the speakerphone because I couldn't hear him.
Okay.
But it didn't go over the radio.
We'll go back on.
It's after this next commercial.
You didn't have to interrupt my show. Call in my edge. Hey, don't be doing. I'm gonna call Randy phone while you on the air, Mayor Perkins.
I'll tell you the truth. We're still on Facebook.
I know I'm on Facebook. Mayor Perkins, let the sunshine in. You know I want to
Oh, Lord, I tell you.
It's a small town. We know who's on it.
And that's what we're going to pick back up. I got one more spot to play. We're going to pick back up on that whole concept that people have problems with but I mean, that's typical in any small town, maybe.
I want to
but
talk about some other things too.
Well, we got I got a couple of things I want to go through that are important that people need to
talk about my platform no more. I think that they got it.
Well, that's what a platform is, though. When I say platform,
Give me a specific question because platform could be
no, I got you. I hear what you're saying.
Explain that to.
Well, that is my problem with
1,000 times. I like specific questions.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying with these races.
You've been in education, you've been fighting education
well, I was
in
going
Dallas
to say
County
people
for 20,
it
30
was
years.
a long time
Yeah,
since
so
I was a
give it to me.
teenager.
Give it to me.
You know, and so
I ain't scared.
you know, but people
J.L.
typically
Chestnut trained me. Rose
Yeah.
Sanders, Fire
Yeah.
Rose.
who I used to bump it.
Reverend Gary Lamar Crum Empowerment Zone co-host. Yes, sir.
Who I bumped heads with, by the way.
Who hasn't? But we love Rose, but Rose bump heads.
I know.
If you got a head, she's gonna bump it.
14,
She's gonna keep it talking.
here we go. 1490 WHBB. Our guest this morning is Kameisha Alvarado, aka Sunshine. And so, you know, behind the superintendent, just instability in that office. And how do you feel about having a local, a person that's from the area be superintendent?
Hey, Dr. Roussel, I'm going back, Dr. Carter, Miss Lett. We've had opportunities, Dr. Jefferson. It doesn't work out, look like. Maybe because of the educators, too many educators who get personally caught up. I need someone that looks at policy only. I'm a policy only person. I don't have to get caught up if I like you or not. If the policy stands, if it supports the situation, let's do that. It shouldn't be picks and chooses. And that's what's happened with our kids in Selma. You know what I mean? We need to stop doing that because what kind of example are we needing? Another thing that I want to make sure I want the people to know, I believe that everyone in time has to raise taxes, right? But to raise taxes for a failing school system, I don't really think that works out. To raise taxes, and not failing in a sense, but it's failing in many ways because we can't keep proper leadership. This administration fired a principal and just brought him back. He fired him for the last superintendent's request, and then we brought him back and everybody celebrated. Make that make sense? What kind of decision is that? So did you not vet what the superintendent told you? Yeah. And that's my question. Have you just been doing what the superintendent tells you to do? Or are you actually listening, taking it in, and giving advisement to the superintendent? But to raise taxes, my opponent wants to raise taxes because they're the minority, the mass owners of land, and most of our kids, she said, are on rental and housing. But to me, that's a double-edged sword because first of all, we need to educate our children on the importance of owning property. Secondly, I'm not a renter, and I'm not gonna say I was on Section 8 probably for 3 years of my entire life when I moved back to Alabama, and it was a great stepping stone. But those are things that we should encourage people to build themselves off of and not to be mindset in this community. And we want to take from others to build wealth in other areas. We have to all do that work. We have to do that work. And if we're on the board, we need to find alternative ways to fund education. And if there's community citizens of Selma attended Selma High School,
right,
we had money. And obviously it's not a problem because Elwood at Meadowview Christian is pulling in a diverse crowd. Morgan Academy is pulling in a diverse crowd. So we cannot hold people at fault because they want a safer community for our kids. We have to do better for the city of Selma in the school system that we support. Okay. And if we're going to say that we're going to be on this board, I need to see results of people on the board because right now we have a lot of violence. We're not inclusive. We're not even trying to be inclusive. All we keep worrying about is the numbers. But what are we doing as board members to change those numbers?
Okay, we're under 10 minutes. We're gonna do the lightning rounds. Huh? I got questions for you since you want the questions, right? Yeah. Okay, now another problem, as you already alluded to it, decisions being based upon who you know, who you're related to, who you're friendly with. You know, how would you address that as a school board member?
It's failed us. It has failed us, and that's probably why we don't have a local superintendent. I believe we should have had a local superintendent years ago, but it has failed us. Those personal relationships. Oh, I don't think she, or I don't think, but it's not your personal choice. It's the choice of, as a board member, you're speaking for the people. And I would think that as a board member, when you have these things come up, have a town hall meeting for your district to see what the people want, see what the people expect from you. But if you're disassociated from the people, and that's what I've seen. I used to call mine, Phyllis Hauser. She would answer the phone. She took a day off the day I went with Dr. Bird, and he accused me of being a terrible parent. Guess he didn't know my background. You know what I'm saying? She was there. You know, so I commend her for being an advocate for her district. And that's what we need. So I want to fill that gap that Phyllis is leaving behind and be that parent, that advocate, and that shows up for the parent, that shows up for the child. Even though I can't make an individual decision on the child, I can help that child and that parent navigate the system and the laws, the rules and the policy without them feeling like they're just left alone to deal with the process.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about how you would impact and view policies on the suspension of students? How would you handle it in terms of in-school suspension or the alternative school or
Right
throw them
now,
out in the street or what?
right now, Alabama and this nation is facing some serious issues when it comes to vaping and tobacco use and CBD and all these things. And right now, our school district is recommending all of our kids go straight to juvenile detention. But it's an issue. It's an issue of trying to solve this. And this stuff was at a gas station now. It wasn't like it was in some place like a liquor store where kids couldn't get access. These things were at the gas station at Conoco, where I would call our principal last year, Miss Smith, and say, Miss Smith, those kids are buying vapes from Conoco, right? So we have to deal with the issues at hand, and we cannot be harsh on our kids, knowing that their future is at stake. If we know that this is a national issue, don't we have counseling services available? That's what the handbook says. We have Maya Jackson, who every year has a drug course seminar. We have so many avenues to help these kids instead of sending them straight to the prison to pipeline complex. They're even sending at a point if they're uncompliant with the cell phone usage, because these kids are addicted to the cell phone as well. They're sending them also. So we have to stop automatically wanting to send our children to the juvenile justice system because they can't get out. We don't have money like other communities to get our kids out. We don't have those resources. So when our children get stuck in a system, it's a never-ending system. And I want to change that. I want to be that board member to say, hey, let's give them a couple of chances. Hey, let's send them to a counseling. Let's send them to a tobacco cessation class. Maybe let's do everything that we can try to see if this child has a substance problem or is he just being defiant. But most of the time, they have a substance issue because some teenager, their bigger cousin, their other cousin, the uncle, maybe gave them a shot of whiskey, maybe gave them a cigarette, and now their body can't fight the urges to do that in school. And those are strong urges because a lot of adults can't put cigarettes down. A lot of adults can't put liquor down. So why do we think it's that easy for our kids?
Okay. Now, you mentioned cell phone, but dress code, cell phone policies. In fact, last year or the year before last, you may be familiar with it. There was a change at Selma High School. The principal, I think, had to take medical leave. And when he took medical leave, a new principal came in, and the students had been allowed not to necessarily follow the dress code strictly. And they were used to doing it one way, and that principal came in and
But
started
structure.
enforcing.
See, we need structure.
Yeah.
See, children love structure. They really do love structure. When you put a child in line and say, this is what I expect from you, and you expect that every day, then they won't rebel against you.
But because
there was no structure. So whoever, it wasn't the new person that came, and I remember that situation was Dr. Ford. It wasn't her situation. It was whoever was there before who did not allow the structure to maintain. And that's probably the issue with Miss Smith. Miss Smith was very structured. And we have to put our kids in a structured way because the workforce is structured. Life is structured. When you become 18 and get out there on your own, bills are structured. So if we allow our kids to live in an unstructured society through our school system, we're doing a disservice to the workforce.
Okay. Lastly, public safety is, as you alluded to, is a big issue. How would you put that on the table, and what would be your advocacy for safety?
Well, I'm glad that we have Natasha Folk as our full-time police officer, security officer at the school. And we got Mr. Joe Clark, Sean Cole. He said everything's under his control. He got it. But we just had a bomb threat the other day. The first day of school, we had fights. These are things that we have to take head on. When we know there are situations brewing in the community, as teachers and administrators, those are things that we need to take into account on Monday morning, Tuesday morning. Every morning, we need to have some boots on the ground somewhere to say, okay, we know this issue is brewing and that we need to take this head on. And I know that Ms. Smith did some things like that in the past, and it led to other things. But if we do that as a unit, as a system, and not just an individual principle, you'll see the difference. Structure.
Okay. As we close, now's your opportunity to say whatever you want to say.
Let the sunshine in. I've been advocating for youth in Selma for a long time, since I came back in 2005. When I came back in 2005, I knocked on several doors of people in the community. Hank Sanders, for one, and asked for a job, and he let me be his community liaison for District 23. And since then, I've been on the ground running. I did 105.3 volunteer. Y'all think I got paid? I acted like I got paid, but I didn't get paid. It was the passion of the community, just passing out words and information. I co-hosted with Fire Rose 280. If anybody know Fire, it's hard to stand your ground with Rose Sanders, the attorney. So if you can know me in the time that I spent on that show, I was very respectful, and I also held my position. Also with Empowerment Zone, I did the same thing. Dr. Reverend Crumb, he was the pastor and I was the sinner, but it was an equal balance of what the community looks like. We can't have one way all the time. We have to embrace everybody, inclusiveness. And I want to be an inclusive board member. And I want to, hopefully, since my district is a diverse district, Ward 3 is a diverse community, I want some of those kids to come back. Dr. Reverend Crumb, I love you, but we want some of our kids back from ECA. We want some of our kids back, and I'm going to be advocating to get some of our children back if I make it on this board, because that's what we need for a better education, a diverse education, an inclusive education, and not to target one community to pay our bills, but to target that community to come back to be a part to build this city.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Ms. Kameisha Sunshine Alvarado, and we will be watching with great interest on this upcoming Tuesday, and we're going to take a break as we get ready for our next segment coming up in a few minutes. We've got, interesting enough, related to the school board, Cicely Curtis is coming in. Yeah,
she's Jeremiah's cousin.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, she's running for school board president. So we'll be back with more after these messages.
Thank you, Randy.
You're quite.
Let the sun shine in.
Quite welcome.
Let the sun arise. I'm still alive.
Yeah. No, you're not live. You live on Facebook.
Oh. I will be that fun parent. You know what I'm saying? You can come up there. We're gonna laugh. I don't be mean, but I'm gonna laugh and empathize with you, because I've been there. Vote for sunshine. All right, Randy, love you.
Love you too, Sunshine. I'll see you around, and we.
I hope a Catholic prayer up there for me.
Yeah, well, hang on in there. We'll just. I suspect many of these races are going to be close.
Yeah. Let's see. We know we're gonna have a runoff in a few, so.
Yeah, it's going to be a runoff in some of those guys. With this camera, I don't want to have to switch cameras, but I may have to.
Now, if it worked for everybody else, can't Randy, I'm gonna think you did it. Don't work. It worked for the mayor. I'm gonna know they ain't gonna.
Yeah, but remember, you were on in the beginning, so over more than half the program you were on.
Yeah,
and it just I don't know what happened. That's what happened.
You got a short. Maybe you got a short.
It must be.
I might buy some more wires.
I've got a couple of cameras. I need to use another one, I think. Okay, have a good one.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
August the 26th, 2025. Elect, Beth, and re-elect Jamie Thomas, City Council Ward 7, putting our community first, taking action and get results. Pay Politica by friends to elect Jamie Thomas for City Council Ward 7.
Good morning, I'm Jen Davis. Here's what's happening in the news on this Friday. 2 shooting scares on college campuses turned out to be false alarms. The first happened Thursday morning at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. An active shooter alert was issued. Authorities later determined there was no shooter. Then, late Thursday, Villanova University faced a similar issue. It also issued an active shooter alert. Authorities now say it was a cruel thing. No word yet on any. Keep your car
Good morning. Hey, have a seat. I'll be right back.
Okay.
11 and
Sounds
22.
good.
The free giveaway will take place on August 26th at the Montgomery AAA office located at Vaughn and Bell Road. Montgomery is celebrating United top entrepreneurs tonight at the 2025 MGM Small Business Awards. Finalists are selected by national panels of judges for things like innovation, growth, and community impact.
Your 1490 WHBB weekend weather forecast. A partly to mostly cloudy day from time to time. A high a little bit better in the upper 80s this afternoon with a 60% chance of afternoon and early evening scattered showers and thunderstorms may affect some of those high school.
Hey, Priscilla, how you doing?
After rain chance moves.
Good. Did Sequita call you about getting the front?
More of the same.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I told her, I said, I got a radio interview. So, okay, I said, call Priscilla. Okay. Thank you, baby. Bye-bye.
Sunday night up to 60 below. And for Monday, dry, partly sunny with a high near 90. That is a look at your latest weather forecast. We do appreciate you listening in to stay informed, entertained, and up to date on Selma's information station, 1490 WHBB. Banking the way it should be at First Capital Bank means you never have to worry about the season or the weather with online banking. It's always there in all of its own, 24/7, 365, even on holidays. I'm Richard Bradford, president of First Capital Bank, here to let you know that all of our online banking resources have been invaluable to our First Capital customers.
I was having trouble with this camera,
Okay.
so I'm going to switch cameras and see what happens. How you been?
I'm great. What about yourself?
Fine.
They're running.
Well,
Look, the morning you have something to do, people call the train.
everything
Has
happens.
employees held up. They're calling. I'm like, look, I got an radio interview.
Sometimes I make you
So-
wonder, did you know I was here?
I know.
Well,
And then everybody going slow gets in front of
Yep,
you.
yep.
So yeah, I had to pivot a bit this morning, but all is well. God
No
is good.
problem.
Yeah,
That's the nature of the beast.
it is. It is. What time do you go off? 9 o'clock.
We'll go off at 9ish.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Because I got a 9 o'clock. So we're perfect.
Okay. And behind
Thank
you
you
is
for the
Ray Perkins.
opportunity.
Yeah. Well, this is
And can I pull up my Facebook page?
sure. Well, it's just like with me this morning. The camera's messing up.
Yeah, I tell you. Technology, these gadgets and devices. They're
Yeah.
excellent when they work.
When they work, they're fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I tell you.
But when they don't, I tell you, Randy, my husband is the computer guru.
Uh-oh.
And he has patience for it.
But that's the key word.
Yes, he has the patience for it. And I told him, I said, here, you get it. You work on it. Give it back to me when it's ready.
But that is the key.
I'm Owen Peak at Peak Insurance. We're excited to welcome Chase Uzi to our growing team. Chase loves Central Alabama and will greatly help us maintain our dedication to our customers. It is great to start a career with a highly respected company that is family owned, strong commitment to the very community that I grew up in and love so much. I've already learned how important it is.
This thing is not.
Insurance companies, but
I may have to go and come out. But let me see. I'll tell you the truth.
That one is for, what does this camera do? That's for
Both
Facebook.
of them are for. I can use them both for both.
Okay.
I can record with it. In fact, let me see how much of that. I may just record you and play it back on. I'm glad you said that because come on. Yep, I got enough. I'm going to record this and then I'll play it back on the website and on Facebook. And we're live on radio, but I like to be live on Facebook.
Can I go live on my?
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you my phone so
Yeah. Since it wants to act up this morning.
Where you normally like me to place it?
Oh, is that good? I think I've got a stand I can give you.
Okay.
A stand. That'll work better.
But as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
How would you like to unlock a healthier future for you and your children? It's possible by becoming a participant in Catalyst by Southern Research, an Alabama-based initiative. Catalyst aims to improve understanding of genetic influences on health. With this deeper understanding, you can begin to access healthcare customized to your needs and choose treatments and medications based on your individual factors. There is no cost to join or participate. To get started, visit Catalyst.com. That's Catalyst by
You put it where you want to.
Southern Research.
You got it. All right. Got you and you and you.
See, that's my good side, I think.
Okay. Am I? Yeah.
You ready?
Just about. I'll play one or two more commercials and then we're ready to roll. Okay. Where were you? Just saw you. Just saw you. Where'd you go? There you go.
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for invested money must be licensed. You're careful with your money. Fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-5353
All right.
to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Learn to protect yourself at asc.alabama.gov. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
1490 WHBB. Good morning to you. It's a few minutes after 8 o'clock.
This is Viewpoint, a presentation of the News and Public Affairs Department of AM 1490 WHBB. We welcome your input on the issues of the day. You can contact us on the Viewpoint line by calling 875-1490. The opinions expressed by our callers and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the management and staff of AM 1490 WHBB. And now, here's today's Viewpoint.
And good morning and welcome into the Friday morning viewpoint. For this Friday morning, August the 22nd, 2025, I'm your host, Randy Williams. And as I have been talking about this week, our guest this morning is none other than the Miss Cicely Curtis, who sometimes I call Cicely Tyson.
You're not the only one. I answer.
Yeah, you know, it's no harm. I just do it in teasing most of the time, but at least once I did it by mistake.
She's my mom's favorite actress, so I was named after Cicely.
Well, then maybe that's, and she's one of my favorite actresses
mine
too.
too.
You know, and let me say full disclosure for the audience. I know all of the people who are running for office and have had some sort of a relationship, and of course my relationship with you is special because of your grandmother, Miss Alvarado.S, Big Mama. We go way, way, way back, and she was a true. She supported the foot soldiers. If it hadn't been for your mother, your grandmother, and your mother, actually, a lot of the freedom foot soldiers wouldn't have had a place to eat.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't have had anywhere to sleep.
And eating is important, Randy.
Well, you better be able to eat, huh? Because that was the first thing they do, try and starve them out.
Yes.
And shelter.
Yes.
And a telephone.
Okay.
Well, you guys, you guys she had a telephone when very few people had a phone. Now it was tell a woman and tell a man then.
Yes.
Now we got cell phones.
All of the devices.
So gadgets. I'm sure she would be proud and she would love to see what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So now that being said, I had to put that out the way because I want people need to know. I don't like all that playing all them games and
Yes.
hiding this and hiding.
Be transparent.
Be transparent. Why not? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
You know, but still, that does not mean I'm not going to ask you tough questions.
Right.
You know, and I know you can handle it.
Be transparent, but be fair.
And that's the bottom line,
Yeah.
you know. And so in Canada, just be prepared,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And so that being said, I don't want to assume that everybody knows you and your background. Let's start from the beginning, where you were born, where you went to school, what your academic accomplishments have been, and what you're currently doing.
I am Cicely Curtis, your candidate, Selma and surrounding listeners for school board president for Selma City Schools. My background, Randy has shared with you some of my family history, the roots that I'm very, very proud of, the legacy of my family. I stand on the shoulders of many giants, starting internally with my big mama, my mother, my grandfather, Alvarado.S, even my father, Edward Nelson, and my grandmother, Medea. I had a big mama and a Medea.
Oh, no.
Medea was in Selma, my daddy's mom.
Wow.
And so very, very, very
You had a
dynamic.
double whammy.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Mm.
Those women in my life, you know, an array of aunties and cousins and family members taught me how to be strong, how to fight. Medea, she believed in, you know, fighting.
Mm.
But Big Mama and my mom taught me how to fight in a different way.
Mm.
And so, and then, you know, God, I want to give honor to God first and foremost, because then he comes along and teaches you to fight a very different way as well. So it's a spiritual fight.
Well,
it's
see,
a warfare.
he was involved all along. You just didn't know it.
I didn't know it. That's right. Big Mama, Medea, they were praying for me.
Mm.
So they were fighting the spiritual battle all along. But now, you know, that I'm aware and I'm awoke.
Right.
You know, I'm awakened.
Right.
Now I know it's a spiritual battle. So that's my family history. I have awesome husband, Walter Curtis, Lieutenant Walter Curtis, who's been with the police department for almost 30 years, looking at retirement. My children, I have 4 beautiful children, 3 daughters, 1 son. My son is 10th grade at Selma High School, football player. 3 daughters who graduated from Selma High School. So did I, and my husband as well. I'm a 1995 graduate of Selma High School. And I have 3 beautiful grandchildren, twin boys, and Ella, who's my oldest grandbaby. She's 1 year old. So 3, my oldest daughter has 3 under 2. So pray for her. But very thankful for my family. Family is important. And,
okay, put a pin in that. Okay. We need to go down the street to a Cornerstone and see what's going on with Cornerstone Realty. Jewel, are you there?
Here, and I'm just here listening to all this about family and thinking about my family and how important family is to us.
Amen.
That legacy that we have, that we're proud of, and so I know what she's talking about. I want to tell you that Sandra Mitchell has a 3-bedroom brick house on 4th Avenue that has been reduced from 74.9 to 60.9. That's a big price change in that. So give her a call or give your favorite realtor a call. And speaking of that, if you see somebody's sign in the yard, that does not mean that you have to call that agent. You can if you want to, but if you have somebody else that you know or another realtor that you would like to work with, you can do that because your realtor can call that person on that sign and make arrangements for showing. So don't let that hold you back. I want to say that Kevin Barnes had just gotten a new listing on Pinehart, and it's already under contract. So people who think that we don't sell, we do. We just don't talk about it as much as some people do. We have a surprise in store. We're gonna be listing the Orville Farmers Market. I'm excited about that. We were very saddened that it has been closed for a couple of weeks now, and we want someone to come and bring that thing back, unlock those doors and get it started. Get us going again because we need our farmers market. We need those good lunches and my Saturday morning breakfast. So give us a call, give me a call. Agents won't know about this yet because the figures are not finalized. We will have that out in the next 2 or 3 days. So, but if you're interested or you know of someone who would love to own that farmer's market, and there's an office building there, the equipment is going to be included. Much of the inventory, though, may be gone by then because they're doing some sales on Saturday. So give us a call, give me a call on this right now, and then after I get it out there, you can call any realtor that you want, and they will be able to tell you about it. So I've got river properties, we've got houses that you can afford, we've got houses that I can't afford, but give us a call. We've got, I think, 11 agents. Give us a call at 872-0441 or come by 519 Lauderdale Street. We've always got some kind of funny story for you, or we've got good times. Sometimes we have donut holes. Sometimes we've got other things. So give us a call and come on down to Cornerstone.
Well, thank you so much, Joel. We sure appreciate it. And we will make sure, of course, that we're looking forward to talking to you the next time.
Thank you, Randy.
And thank you. Okay. All right. That was Jewel Williamson, the Cornerstone. Our guest this morning is running for the school board presidency. And that's, of course, Miss Cicely Curtis. We're going to take a commercial break. And then when we come back, we will continue with her. We'll be back with more after these.
Pay some bills.
Yeah, we gotta pay some bills. That's right. We'll be back with more.
Selma, it's time
And
for
I gotta
change.
get this
I'm
to
and I'm running
to
for
Mayor
mayor
Perkins.
to
Let me
deliver
see
safe
here.
streets, clean neighborhoods,
Where
and
are
a city
you?
hall that works for you. On August the 26th, let's choose progress over politics. Let's choose leadership that listens and delivers. Vote Johnny Moss III for mayor, and together we'll rebuild Selma and make our city proud again. Paid for by the committee to elect Johnny Moss III for mayor, Selma, Alabama.
Visiting with Barry Parker at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC in historic downtown Selma, 79 years, Barry.
That's right, George. I was working on year 79. Same location, same family. The Porter family has had the franchise for this period of time. We invite you to come by and see us. You know, you might be in the market for a, let's just call it inexpensive pre-owned automobile. You never know what I've got on the wholesale to the public line. And we always got something over there, so come by and check it out. Or if you're just looking for a pre-owned automobile, we got cars, trucks, vans, SUV, all on the service, all on the oil change, tire rotation, all service and ready to go. And we can do the financing for you too, George.
That's right. Financing is not a problem, no matter if you've got a number one credit or credit that's been through the ringer. We've got some special people that can help you out and get you rebuilt again, right?
That's right. We got the Credit Acceptance Corporation, and they guarantee financing approval. So when everybody else says no, the reliable team says, yes, we can.
And of course, with not only the great selection of pre-owned automobiles and the wholesale to the public that you just mentioned, we also keep the complete line of brand spanking new Chevrolet and GMC vehicles as well.
That's right, George. You can check us out on your website at reliablegmc.com or come see us at 14th Lawrence Street, right across from the post office, or give us a call, 872-2337. Come check us out today.
At reliablegmc.com. Give them a call, 872-2337. And remember, Reliable truly has it all.
I'm Owen Peak. At Peak Insurance, we're excited to welcome Chase Uzi to our growing team. Chase loves Central Alabama and will greatly help us maintain our dedication to our customers.
It is great to start a career with a highly respected company that is family-owned with a strong commitment to the very community that I grew up in and love so much. I've already learned how important it is to represent many great insurance companies, but we work for you. Peak Insurance offers freedom from one insurance agent representing only one company. This allows us to bring competition to the table to get you the best coverage at the best price. I'm Chase Uzi, hoping that you will let me talk to you about your personal and commercial insurance needs. Peak Insurance is always on your side, especially when it comes to a claim. Let one of Central Alabama's largest customer service support staffs show you the benefits of peak coverage, peak service, Peak Insurance.
Peak Insurance serves all of
Okay,
Central
well, this is
Alabama and
already.
is now the only locally owned independent agency in the Selma area. Peak service, peak satisfaction, Peak Insurance.
August the 26th, 2025. Elect, vote, and re-elect Janie Thomas, City Council Ward 7, putting our community first, taking action and getting results. Paid political by friends to elect Janie Thomas for City Council Ward 7.
1490 WHBB. Good morning on this Friday morning. Coming up at the 9-ish, we've got Mayor James Perkins Jr., who will be joining us after Ms. Curtis. And I guess this segment is Cicely Curtis. She's running for the school board for the city of Selma. And you were telling us, pick up where you left off at.
Yes, thank you, Randy. Good morning again, Selma. To those who are just coming in, thank you for this opportunity, Randy, to share. I was telling you about my family background, which is very important. I think the foundation for everyone is, and it's not how you start, but how you end. But you have to remember where you come from. So I always keep that at forefront. My experience, my education experience, Randy, I started my career as a fourth grade teacher at Edgewood Elementary School, Edgewood Busy Bees. For 7 years, I was a fourth grade teacher. During that time at Edgewood, I also pursued National Board certification and was one of the very few in Selma City Schools that achieved that accomplishment. Very proud of it, where I could go anywhere in the United States, the 50 states, and not have to be recertified with that national certification, which they call you an accomplished teacher once you receive National Board certification. After that, I taught at Clark, which was, of course, my roots, Big Mama and GWC for 52 years. I attended Clark, so I had the opportunity to join Clark Elementary School under a leader who was, to me, very effective. I was doing some things in the classroom and wanted to do a whole lot more under his leadership. So I transferred to Clark for a year. After that first year as a teacher at Clark, my principal then asked me to become instructional coach. Would I? Of course, I said yes, because that gave me an opportunity to utilize my skills even more, working with teachers and the entire faculty alongside some other people who were pulled out of the classroom. After that, I was in school at Alabama State University for my master's in instructional leadership, in which I did accomplish. I did my internship at the central office. We were under state takeover at that time. So Dr. DeShira was in the school system. He was the superintendent at that time. And I did my internship for a week there. And after my internship, I also ran for office. He called and said, "You're a rising star. You ran against an incumbent. You're just a school teacher, and you almost beat her." And so I was asked to interview at R.B. Hudson for assistant principal position. I did. The principal at the time gave me the opportunity. Loved it. Worked as assistant principal. The next year he left, and so I pursued principalship. Became principal at School of Discovery, was principal there, 6th grade campus, loved it. People said middle school is so tough. I love middle school. Became principal there and was there for 4 years, where myself and a team of dynamic teachers were able to improve the school report card grade, implement some changes, let the scholars know that we really cared. We did some very innovative things at School of Discovery. After that, Dr. Williams was the superintendent. She asked me if I would lead R.B. Hudson. Of course, I said yes to accept the challenge, Randy. R.B. Hudson at the time was in dire need of a shift in the culture and climate. I remember being the principal at School of Discovery and every day seeing something on Facebook posted about fights and different things, brawls that were happening at the school. And as I sat there cringing, I knew that, there was something more that could be done. And so when Dr. Williams asked me to become leader at RB Hudson, I wholeheartedly accepted the challenge and was very excited to go there and,
I just did
get in the trenches.
I just did an interview with one of the instructors over at RB Hudson. I understand you put in a proposal for this new state-of-the-art media center that's getting ready to open.
Yes, I worked on that.
You worked on that?
Yes. That was under my leadership. We, were able to secure grant funding, which is something that you have to do in schools as a leader. After that, Randy, RB Hudson, I was there 3 years. We accomplished coming off the failing school list, which RB Hudson was on the failing school list for almost a decade. Again, we went in, got in the trenches with our children, with our scholars, let them know we cared, with our teachers, did some innovative things, found out, assessed people's needs, did some asset mapping to see what it is the teachers were passionate about. We implemented that on Fridays. We were able to achieve STEM certification as well under my leadership at RB Hudson. Again, this wasn't by myself. I had a team of dynamic people who worked alongside with me. After that, of course, I did pursue superintendent. I did not become superintendent, but I was asked to work at the central office. I applied for a central office position, which was federal programs, and I worked in federal programs. Enjoyed that, where I managed and budgeted over $30 million.
I wonder what happened to you.
I was at central office.
I didn't know all of this.
I was in the numbers, so you probably didn't see me.
Right.
Yeah, so we had ESSER funds, and that budget was over $30 million, Randy. So I was working directly with the State Department to make sure we were in compliance, to get that budget, get everything budgeted and properly allocated so that the funds were released and we can use them. I was also working with principals, budgeting and getting an electronic system in place for federal programs. We were doing everything by paper, but I accepted the challenge to work on converting things digitally. And so I'm very proud of that. We were able to accomplish that as well. So I was working, Randy. I am a worker. I'm a doer. So once I, indulge myself, I am in it.
That's it, huh?
Yes.
But now, what are you doing now?
Currently, I am Chief Operating Officer for Selma Housing Authority, where I still get to work with our families, Randy, that most of them I've taught. So relationships are already there. They know me. They know what I do. And so the work continues. We also collaborate directly with the school system. We have summer enrichment where we have an MOU with the school system, and they allow teachers to come over, certified teachers, to our community centers to teach our boys and girls in the summertime. And also we have after school.
I love I was over at Felix Heights a year or two ago with UAB for a health clinic. And I was their photographer. And boy, I was really impressed with what was happening at the community center for the children.
Right.
You could see the passion was coming through, their
Shout out to Miss Robinson.
Miss Robinson.
Miss Robinson and Miss Johnson.
Miss Johnson.
So they've been there for years and they love it. They work very well with our scholars.
Excellent job.
Yes.
People can learn from them.
Yes. Patient. And the thing is, they genuinely love the children, and that makes a difference.
Now, brings me to the $1 million question. Why are you running for school board president?
I'm running to make a difference, Randy. I was, got to tell the story how. I jumped in the race. How January 1st, Wednesday of this year, is when I now made my announcement. I was praying. I started what's called War and Wiz Wednesday, which is day set aside to pray and fast for our children. This was post-COVID, right after COVID, as a principal at RB Hudson. When our scholars came back in the building, I saw the condition they were in. A lot of our children are latchkey children. They were home alone, and they got involved in some things, Randy. We saw, myself and another teacher, we started talking about it, and I told her that on Mondays I was fasting and praying at that time for marriages. And so we talked about it. We said, well, Wednesdays we're going to fast and pray for our children, and just targeted prayer. We know we pray without ceasing, right? But on Wednesday it's targeted. And so now, Randy, people all over the world are praying, have joined in. I have a Sisters in Devotion group that I'm in now. On Wednesdays, that's led, and Warren Wednesday is the focus of that group. So we're praying for our scholars that morning, January 1st, sitting on my couch, early morning prayer. And that's when I heard, do it, run. And so that's why I am running. I also want to offer my experience. I want to offer new, fresh ideas and a new way of leading. I am a doer. I'm a servant leader, Randy. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I won't do myself. I'm going to do it with you. I've been in the trenches for a long time, and it's time to come to the table. So I want to work alongside the superintendent, Dr. Scott, who we have now, dynamic instructional leader. So I want to work alongside him. Also bring the board, unity with the board. Not that the board does not have unity, because we have a board that's done a great job, done the very best that they could do, but work alongside the board so we can really affect change. And I see some things that our youth need. And I have some ideas, Randy. God has given me some vision.
Yeah, put a pin in that. I believe I may have on the line Mr. Bruce Holmes. He was scheduled to call in for a few minutes to make some kind of an announcement. Is that you, Bruce?
Oh, God, Bruce, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. But this is
That's okay. That's all right, Angela. You're welcome. Go ahead.
I'm going to let it play and let me just sit there, because now I know that you have a dynamic person on the phone with you, Randy. So let me just attest to her, because I have just several announcements. Everything she said is true, because I witnessed it. My son went through her school. When he was there, he said, Mom, best year ever at RB Hudson. I saw her move about the cabin and with her staff. I saw those things, but when I was going back, like 17 years I've been doing the youth conference, right? I had made a promise on the campaign trail, or I made a statement on the campaign trail that, hey, immediately I will start the youth conference, bring young people together to do leadership training, right? They need leadership training. And I had a timeline. So I went out to listening people, and lo and behold, Cicely Curtis and Adrian Lee, they stick together. They were like, we can help, what can we do? I mean, they told me, Randy, this right here, and I knew they were true blue. They said, we can stand on the corner and raise money with some buckets. We can get some buckets and raise money for you to do this. I was like, okay. So then I was a little green. I didn't know where I could put this youth conference in the budget, or if I could put the youth conference in the budget, because I started it months after being elected, like boom, off the ground. I saw that they didn't have to do that for us, our young people, or anything at all. But she was willing to get on those streets with some buckets. And that's annoying when people are on the street with buckets, right? When you get to Harlem Avenue, and then they come across the street, you're scared to hear them. But she was ready to risk it all, I guess. And they offered that. And moving into when she applied for superintendent, we all, were hoping that she would get it because of these factors, Ring. She's a worker and a doer. All of the families and all of the children know and love her. They don't just know her and love her, but the children don't just love her, the children like her. And it's a difference between somebody who gotta love you and then choosing to like you. They actually like this candidate that's on the phone. And the parents appreciate her going above and beyond during that tornado season that we had. She was on the ground, like boots on the ground. And so I'm glad I called and found that you were talking to her because I'm attesting to something that's true. Y'all know I speak in fact. Cicely Curtis is that person. Cicely Curtis is the magic. If magic ever existed for young people, she is that magic. And I do believe her that on January 1st, she said exactly what she heard. She's been a friend. Like, it's not just she's not saying that because she's on the campaign trail. She is a friend. I've seen her pray. I've seen her pray for the children. I've seen her do things that other people don't know about. And I just have to witness because I happen to be there and present her do for families. I've seen her move mountains where people kept telling families, no. Cicely Curtis said, make it happen. Go and make it happen. Don't bring me back a no. So I'm glad that I came in on that.
Well, let me let the people know this was not planned. This was not a choreographed endorsement, for Cicely Curtis. I was really expecting Bruce Holmes to call. He called me yesterday and said he was gonna call. But go ahead.
But Brandon, real quick, I called to say that we're doing a work. Cook Up is doing a work over in DWC. This election season, we targeted the DWC home because of the low turnout. And I want to shout out the DWC. They've been coming to meetings that we've been having. As a matter of fact, Cicely Curtis has been the person that's been letting us into the community center. Let us in and then come back and lock the door when we get ready to leave. But they are amped and excited, Randy. I told them how they've been discussed at the table and how people keep saying, why is it that you have a voting place on the grounds and you're not voting? You're having low voter turnout and your voting spot is right there. And they just amped them up. They motivated them to move further. And we're hoping to move that needle for DWC. So we're hoping to help move the needle because they're going to move the needle with DWC on August 26th. So that those numbers can be numbers that we've not seen before. So I called to be a cheerleader for DWC. Yes. I see y'all moving. It was so great and amazing, Randy. We had an election. DWC now has a mayor, city council member, and school board member.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, that is. We'll have to come back to that. Look, I'm gonna have to cut you short this morning because because we got limited time. But we have to. Let's talk over the weekend and schedule something. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You couldn't have gotten any better than that. That was not planned. Now, you have all of this experience as a principal, a teacher, administrator, but I know you haven't had any children in the system, huh?
That's the main role, Randy. Parent. If you look at my push card, the first thing you see on there is parent, because that's the first and most important. So seeing through the lens as a parent is important in this role.
Right.
When I make decisions as school board president, it should be as a parent first. I should be able to make a decision through the lens of being a parent. I have the experience of a teacher, instructional coach, principal, assistant principal, central office worker. So I see through different lenses. So an array of experience. So I can't leave that out. Seeing as a parent and being in the shoes of parents, knowing what parents deal with on a day-to-day basis is important in decision making, in policy, establishing policy. You've got to see through the lens of a parent first and foremost.
Now, to what extent does the superintendent get involved in either identifying or directing fundraising?
Oh, the superintendent is right along everything that we do.
Oh, the president.
Okay, because the superintendent,
I better be careful about the words I'm using. Right.
Yeah.
As president of school board, what role would you play in being able to help generate the revenue?
Randy, I'm so glad you asked me that. So I would like to have ad hoc committees. with the school board. I don't think currently they have any committees. Where we have working committees, working people, parents, consist of parents, all stakeholders, community members, business owners, even our scholars in committees, working committees where we can brainstorm, dialogue, plan, fundraisers. I'm currently a member of Selma High Alumni. This year we gave Selma High School Athletics Department $15,000. We host Saints Fest, which at that event, I'm never in the back enjoying. I'm at the front working, collecting funds. And so that's one way that we, the alumni, are started by my cousin, Martina West. That's one way that we generate funds to help the athletics department, because in working in federal programs, the funds are allocated, earmarked for certain things, and you can't use federal funds for athletics. So you have to be creative. Also, donations, businesses, getting churches involved to adopt a school. We have churches all over Selma. So you can get multiple churches to adopt several schools in their district, in their area. So there are so many ways. We're going to have so many ideas.
I'm sure you do.
And we don't have enough time.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break, and we're on Facebook with the video feed. I started having trouble with video when Sunshine was on. I am still recording, though, in studio, and this interview will be published to the selmapostherald.com website and Facebook as well. I'm gonna log off of this session of Facebook for a few minutes as we do this commercial break. For Facebook listeners, we'll be right back. I've got to open another session up. Mayor Perkins coming in at 9-ish, and he will be with us virtually by way of Zoom. I'll be back with more after these messages.
August the 26th, 2025.
Do this real quick.